Gives me great pleasure to welcome you all today to the Peace Garden. I'm not going to say a lot of things because there's other people who are here to speak, but I'm here just to introduce people. The history of the Peace Garden, I must say though, goes back almost 10 years now. I think next year is our 10th anniversary, I believe. And the Peace Arch is a very important part of it. So the first person to speak is Françoise Murphy. Let's welcome her up.
Good afternoon, everybody. So lovely to see all of you in the Peace Garden at this time. It's a special day today as we celebrate the opening of our new Peace Arch. What a beautiful Peace Arch. Really, I'm amazed how beautiful it was built and how strong it is, which is what we really needed. Because, in fact, this Peace Arch is replacing another Peace Arch that was given to the Peace Garden 5 years ago. It was donated by the Bridge of Peace, by a Bridge of Peace. And I must say that for me it's quite a moving experience for me to see that after the Peace Arch was destroyed in 2020, then people came to me and say, "Oh, Françoise, where is that Peace Arch? I didn't see it anymore in the Peace Garden. What happened to it?" And I told them, "Well, our Peace Arch was destroyed, and we tried to put it back together. But 10 days later, it was destroyed again." So I must say I felt quite upset about the whole situation. But some amazing people came together and decided that they wanted to have the Peace Arch back, because this is a special landmark in the Peace Garden, but also it's more than that. It's not just a nice decoration for the Peace Garden and it's fitting for a Peace Garden, but it has also a back history. There's a deep history behind it. So for those who don't know me, my name is Françoise Murphy, and some of you may be knowing me as the treasurer of the Watford Interfaith Association, or the treasurer of the Watford Celebration, or maybe you know me as a trustee of the Multicultural Community Centre in Watford. And but besides all that, I'm also a member of the Women's Federation for World Peace, and I've been member for quite a long, many years. I could count basically 30 years. I've been a member of the Women's Federation. And I'm also the coordinator of the Watford Bridge of Peace, which is in fact a project of the Women's Federation for World Peace. And the Women's Federation for World Peace is an international organization with an NGO with a consultative status at the United Nations. And I'm very happy today to see my dear friend Miti Thomas to be with us on this special occasion. And we will hear from her. She will speak a bit more about the Women's Federation. So maybe you are wondering, what is the background of the Peace Arch? And I'm here today to tell you about the story, how it all came about. Well, it started, you are all familiar with the event of 9/11 and also the Iraqi war. And at that time, I was really concerned about for the stability and the peace in our world. And I wanted to reach out to the Muslim community and to reassure them that we were there and that we wanted to be friends and we wanted to overcome the prejudice that people have in our world today. So I decided that I wanted to do a special event called the Sisterhood Ceremony, a Bridge of Peace, which in fact is a method used by the Women Federation to bring together women from conflicting backgrounds and to overcome prejudice and bring reconciliation between people from difficult backgrounds. So that's what I decided. I wanted to do this in Watford because I know we have a Muslim community in Watford that needed to be reached out to. So when I decided to do this, I got the support of my friend from the Women Federation and also from the Watford Interfaith Association. And we all worked together to make it happen. And when I had an appointment with a Muslim lady that I met, her name is Tasneem, and I was planning to meet her. But at that time, my son was admitted in hospital, and I was very concerned about his well-being and even about his life. So I didn't know what to do, if I should keep my appointment to start the Bridge of Peace or if I should stay with my son. But my husband told me, you better keep that appointment. So I wanted to calm my mind and heart, and I went to the chapel of the hospital to pray and to try to clear myself. And when I went to the chapel, I heard a man in the background praying in a foreign language, and I didn't know what. I just finished my prayer, and I looked back, and I saw it was a Muslim man praying, and I felt very kind of sympathy and some closeness with him because he was praying for someone in the hospital who was also in need of prayer, and I was praying for my son. So I felt we were in the same situation. At the same time, I saw on the table a Quran and a Bible next to each other. So I thought that was a sign. God wanted me to do this. I needed to go to my appointment, and I needed to start the Bridge of Peace in Watford. So that's what I did. And then, with the help of that Muslim woman, she helped me to reach out to the Muslim community and to meet the Muslim women in Watford. And together with WIFA also, we all worked together. And on the March the 3rd, 2003, 40 women accept the invitation to take part in the Bridge of Peace, a sisterhood ceremony between Christian and Muslim. And so on that day, we had 20 ladies from the Christian community and 20 ladies from the Muslim community who came together. So they came on one side of the arch, one side the Muslim, one side the Christian, and they met together inside the arch, and they greeted each other, and they came together, and they embraced each other. And I must say it was very moving to see this happening. And they came together, and they pledged to become peace sisters, and to learn about each other's faith and about each other's community, and to overcome the barrier that they had, and to really move together. So also at that time, the mayor of Watford, Dorothy Thornhill, was there, and she congratulated us on that day. And from that day on, she supported us, all what we did in Watford regarding bringing together friendship between the Christian and Muslim community. So after this event of the first Bridge of Peace, the ladies who came say, oh, Fossa, you have to keep going, we have to do more of this Bridge of Peace. So we did more Bridge of Peace between Christian and Muslim. And later on, with the anniversary of the 200th anniversary of the abolition of the slave trade, that time we decided to invite women from African and Caribbean background to come together and reach out to them. And after that, we reached out to women from Asian background, and then from women from all backgrounds. And then in 2005, when the new chaplain of Watford came, Richard Shooter, then we decided to go to visit him and to tell us about our Bridge of Peace and about the interfaith work that was going on in Watford. And I went there with my dear sister Sharifa Chaudhry and Judith Bruni, because the Christian lady who was supposed to come could not come, so I invited Judith to come. And then at that time, together with, at that meeting, we decided that we wanted to embrace not just the women, but the whole community, the men and the women, the children, everybody. So, and that's how we started the Watford celebration. And we kept going until today. 15 years we have been doing that in Watford. And so that's another thing that came out of Bridge of Peace. So then after that, besides doing Bridge of Peace, we also had to talk about the dignity of women, about the value of the family. We visited the mosque, we visited St. Albans Cathedral with our Muslim sister, and we did a lot of events. And then eventually, I became so busy with other things that I decided that we would offer our Bridge of Peace to the Peace Garden. And so at that time, in 2017, we donated our Peace Arch to the Peace Garden. And so it stood there at this place for many years. But then in 2020, we came one morning and we found the Peace Arch on the ground in pieces. So it was quite a shock for all of us to see that. So Paul Bruni, Judith's husband, very kindly helped to put it back together. And but he did a very good job. But 10 days later, it was again on the floor, on the ground. So it was quite another shock. So after that, we thought that would not be possible anymore to put all these pieces together. So then, we decided we didn't know what to do anymore, and we left it. So the Peace Garden was empty. We saw the Peace Arch, and we felt that it was missing. But we didn't know how to go about to bring it back. And then one day, like a miracle, people came together, and people told, we need to have that Peace Arch back. And then we had some young people who came to volunteer at the Peace Garden, and they were introduced by Councillor Ravi Martin from the Watford Football Club. They were young people from the National Citizen Service who came. They worked for 1 week in the Peace Garden, and they raised funds for the Peace Garden. And anyway, I don't want to go in detail because Councillor Ravi Martins will explain to you more. But also I want especially to say a big thank you to Sri Mohan, because he's the one who really spearheaded the whole thing. I was really moved and amazed by his determination to go to the end and to build it. And thanks to Sri, also, and his amazing friend, Bob Smallworth, who, I'm amazed how talented Bob is. Look, that arch, isn't that amazing, beautiful and strong? I don't think they can destroy that one. They can hang on it or whatever, but I don't think it will go down. So thank you, Bob. It's amazing what you did. Yeah. And then Sri had another friend, called John, and John made that beautiful plaque on top with written Peace Arch. Amazing, beautiful, fine work. So unfortunately, John could not come today because he has his birthday and he's busy. But thank you so much. So, but anyway, later on, Sri and Councillor Martins will explain more about how it all came together. I just want to thank you so much. I felt like it was kind of a divine intervention to, to bring all everybody together like this. So it's yeah, I'm very very grateful that the Peace Arch is back here in the Peace Garden, because for me it meant a lot, and I believe for this town too. I know that when we had terrorist attack around the world, our mayor Peter Taylor was asking to come to the Peace Garden to gather here, and we gather in front of the Peace Arch. So I felt that this Peace Arch is kind of a spiritual center for our town, and we want to keep it a symbol of the friendship between all our community in our town, and we wanted to keep it, and we wanted to keep going for many, many years to come, so that this town can be blessed as a town where everybody come together, and that we care for each other, and that whatever background we come from, we are all part of the same human family. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Francoise. So you may notice that the word that comes up a lot is peace, and the whole ethos of the Peace Garden is to work in peace, because peace starts with me, you know. So if we can create a space where people can feel that, it's great, you know. So I'd like to welcome up Mitty Toma, who is president of the Women's Federation for World Peace in the UK. Watch your step there.
It's good to have a good husband next to you. Yeah, welcome. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you, Francoise, for inviting me to this wonderful Peace Garden. It's my first time to come and to see this wonderful arch that has been created by the community, for the community. I just want to share a little bit also about the Women's Federation. It's an international organization which was founded in 1992 by Dr. Hak Jahan Moon. It was founded in Korea. And Dr. Moon, she went to a 120 nation tour, and she came to the UK in 1992, where I first encountered the Women's Federation. She really ignited my heart to do something in the community for women, and I decided to become a volunteer. Her ethos was how women can take a central role in this troubled world, as we know that there are many difficulties that we are challenged with, especially concerning family values and traditional values, and how we can be upright in our beliefs, and how we can live together in cohesion and peace. So this was kind of the trigger points for me to get involved in the Women's Federation. In 1994, there was 1,600 Japanese women volunteers who went to 160 nations. And because of their work, dedication, especially in the developing nations like Africa and India, they dedicated 3 years of their life supporting women who are perhaps not so fortunate as we are, and to give them a helping hand in helping them with micromanagement, and also with education for their children, and also to teach them vocational skills which they could use in order to earn a little bit of money to support their family. So based on this dedication of hard work and sacrifice by leaving their own husbands and children in Japan, and often going back to Japan to raise funds for their projects that they had initiated in those nations, we were kind of recognized by the United Nations for the complete dedication of these women. And since then, every 4 years, we are reviewed by the United Nations about this status. We got the highest category, Category 1, which is only allocated to like 72 UN charities, and we were one of them. And why I speak about that, because I never want to forget the foundation we stand on, and always I want to tread carefully, because even amongst those Japanese women, there are some who sacrifice their lives in the field, in the mission. So it is always important to note what we're standing on and to thank people for their efforts. So I feel also, because of this recognition by the United Nations, we have also the Department of Public Information. We have a voice in the United Nations. So it kind of brings me back to this project, the Peace Garden. It was, of course, the Bridge of Peace is one of our signature projects. And the fact that Francois took it to the local level. Sometimes we think we have to do amazing things on the international or the national level, which of course we do, but also the local is very, very important, because that's where we can engage with each other and really find out what the community needs and what the people's needs are, and put it into practice. Partially our 3 aims in our Women's Federation, broadly speaking, is the first is education. We focus on education, empowerment of women, and to have women visible and to let them speak up and share their views, and also try to promote women to be at the negotiating tables where decisions are made, where policies are made. We need a gender balance, not in the fact of being against men, but how we work together and cooperate with each other, because we have to find solutions to the troubled world that we're living in. And the second area of our work is peace and reconciliation, which Francois has actually touched on and talked about the Bridge of Peace. This is our signatory program. I was thinking when I was coming here, imagine if Putin was on one side and Zelensky was on the other side, that they could come to some kind of negotiation and to some kind of decision with themselves, and before picking up the weapons and, destroying so many innocent lives, and it's, of course, I'm simplifying that, but the fact we need to find solutions to reconciliation, and we need the input of everybody. We know there's a lot of historical resentments, religious resentments, or racial resentments, but we have to have sacred spaces where we can come together and overcome our differences. Of course, we need to listen to each other and share each other's heart, and the common desire for everyone is to have peace. So we all have to strive towards that. So this is the second area that we work in. And as I mentioned earlier, the humanitarian outreach and service work we do is really quite important, because one can talk about things, but you have to go out and then demonstrate it and show your love towards others, and especially people who are perhaps caught up in poverty, and they have no way out. And the only way is they need a helping hand, and they need to be given that opportunity that we freely get. We are so blessed, and so many opportunities come to us. So in that sense, going out and doing service work is very important. And I was very pleased to come to this Peace Garden, and when Francois took me around, and to see that different communities have planted, like the Mormons or the Rotary Club, and I'm sure there are many more. I didn't have opportunity to go around everywhere, but to see how we can all work together, and through planting flowers, trees, or doing something in the nature or together is very important. So I'm really grateful for the organizers. I want to say a big thank you to Jeff, and also Judith and Francois, who I'm sure have worked very hard to establish this Peace Garden, and also Francois and all her team effort to establish this Peace Arch. Of course, there are so many people I could thank, but it is amazing. I'm just so moved actually to be here, and I'm so happy that the weather has held out for us, and that we can celebrate together. And I look forward to hearing everybody's speeches, and also interfacing with everybody after. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mitty. The wonderful thing about the Peace Garden, I mean, originally we envisaged it kind of as an interfaith thing, but it's become much more than that. But it's always wonderful when we gather here. We've got people from different faiths, different political persuasions, and just ordinary people as well. So it's really great. And we've received a lot of support from local politicians. None more than the next man who's going to speak, Mr. Ravi Martin, who's here most Wednesdays, not just watching, but doing something, so which is great. Let's welcome Ravi up.
I was afraid Jeff was going to say, not just hanging around, but pretending to do something. Thank you, Jeff. Mr. Mayor, Dean, Miti, thank you so much for gracing this occasion. I'll say a little bit about how we end up with the arch that we do, but what I'd like to say first of all is the significance of the arch, which Francois has already alluded to. To me, a garden without this arch is like a house without a door, without an entrance. It actually leads you into what's to follow. Peace, tranquility, and somewhere just to meditate and think about your life, about your fellow man's life, the suffering that we're going through, Putin and his madness, but also what we can do to change that. And I was told a long time ago, I think it was Dame Helen Hyde, who tells this story about this little girl who's on the beach throwing starfishes back into the water, and somebody gets up to her and says, "What are you doing that for?" She said, "Oh, I'm saving this one." She says, "But there's thousands. You'll never be able to cover them all." And she said, "Yeah, but I'm making a difference to this one." And I think that is what we are all driven by. As Jeff said, I'm a counsellor in Watford. I've been a counsellor for a long time. And people often ask me, why do you do it? And my honest answer is this. I do it not because of the politics of it. I can take or leave the politics. And as Peter knows, there are moments we get very political and go at each other quite hard with the different groups. But most of the time, we work together to serve the community. So the reason I'm in politics is because it enables me to reach out to the communities, to get close to the communities. It's a privilege that many people don't get. It's very easy to knock into an organization and say, "Hi, I'm Councillor Martins, can I help you?" And they listen. You just go in and say, "Hi, I'm Rabbi Martins," and I'll say, "Yeah, what are you doing here?" So I think there's that. So that's what keeps me in touch. But we are here to primarily talk about the garden, the Peace Garden, and the Peace Arch. For me, the Peace Garden is not just a place where I can come and chill out on a Wednesday morning, but it genuinely is a place where I can come and leave my troubles back at home, reflect, think about the world, and actually re-energize myself. And I would ask you to take that message to anybody you can. And this brings me to the Peace Arch, and yes, it was damaged twice. And can I say, my take on that damage was, this is a lovely space that invites people, that makes people come in. Okay, so you get this bunch of kids who come in to relax, and they see this arch and say, "Oh, it'd be nice to swing on there." And they swing, and it breaks. Okay, there'll be those who'll say, "Oh, kids are vandals." I don't take it from that angle. I take it as kids were having fun. That was an accident. So let's try and do something about it, which is what we tried to do. And Paul fixed it once, fixed it twice, fixed it 3 times, and then I think was just about to give up when we had a conversation, Sri Mohan, myself, and others say, "We need to do something a bit more." Yes, we do, but it's expensive. We haven't got the money to do anything substantive. And this is where I go back to my community context. We all know Watford Football Club. It's that little place on Vicarage Road where our team occasionally wins, but mainly loses. But what we didn't know, and I think many people don't know, is that attached to that club is a trust, Watford Football Club Community and Educational Trust. And the trust itself is actually a legacy of none other than the great Graham Taylor. Because Graham Taylor, as the people here may not know, established Watford Football Club as a family club for the family. And that ethos kind of extended into the community club, and out of that was born the community trust. And I got to work with the trust. One of the other hats I wear is a mental health champion, and I knew the trust was doing a lot of work with mental health, so I got talking to them. And then somebody said, we've got this NCS group of kids who are at a loose end. Can you use them? And I said, yeah. So I came and told Jeff, and Jeff said, who's going to manage them? We were nervous, like we all are, about letting a bunch of kids loose on our beautiful garden. Nonetheless, we took the chance. They came, about 15 or 30 of them, I can't remember which. And I tell you what, and they spent 5 days here, and they transformed this overgrown area into something that we could manage and do something with a lot more. The garden was always there. I'm going to say it, sorry guys, but 12 old fogies spending an hour a week, honestly, we can't really manage it. So when this bunch of enthusiastic kids came, and we turned around and said, oh, what have they done? They've cleared it up. We can now do something more with it. That was NCS. I'm delighted that we've got two representatives. Do you want to come up? Lucy Searle and Frankie Webster. Oh, you're very welcome to. These two are representing the trust and the NCS. And the bad news, Lucy, is I'm going to keep calling on you guys. The good news is they're coming back in July with another team of youngsters. Jeff is working out what we're going to give them to do. But I just want to say thank you so much. You guys don't know how much of a difference you made. That money that you raised enabled us to say, now we've got money to do something substantial. And that's when Sri Mohan says, I know somebody who can make you an arch. And from then on, the Sri's project, I know he'll tell us about it in a minute. So Sri, thank you very much. But most importantly, please take our thanks back to the Trust. Without them, this wonderful arch would not be here today. Thank you.
Thanks, Rabi.
Thank you very much, Rabi. So without further ado, let's welcome up Sri, the powerhouse behind getting the arch here. He did it himself, a lot of it, all this beautiful work he did himself. So let's welcome him.
Well, as you heard it, good afternoon to everybody. I don't want to mention names, but all of you are lovely people, and you all are volunteers, and thank you for coming. Good afternoon. Happy Father's Day, by the way. I don't want to introduce myself. My name is Sri Mohan, because I don't want to tell you exactly what I do outside, because my wife's here. She knows I go out to work and I go out to do something, but I don't want to tell her exactly what I do, but it'll be a problem when I go home. I didn't know that, you do that. But she knows I do help out here as well. I don't want, because I prepared a speech to talk about the arch. Francis nearly pretty much said everything, so she told him my speech. And then Ravi Martin also spoke my speech as well. But by the way, one thing is when I took this project, I didn't say, I know someone who could do it, but Bob is here. And Bob's wife's here as well. Abby is here as well. So I never said, I know someone who could do it, but I worded it differently. What it is, the committee was thinking what to do with the arch and who's going to make it. I said, I can do it. I only did it because I'm good at carpentry work. Sorry, Christine. I'm not lying. So I thought I'd do, without spending any money, I get some fence posts, wooden posts, and try and do something with the wood. And Jeff is another clever man. He said, no, Sri, we can't do that because that will be vandalized, burnt or whatever. I said, okay, let's do it in metal. So we were looking around different metals. So finally we found out it's better to do it in stainless steel. That would last longer and it was stronger as well. I said, I'll do the project. So we created a little WhatsApp group for Peace Arch. I don't want to have too many people giving too many ideas. So we had about probably about 8 to 9 people in that group. Bob wasn't in there first. Bob doesn't know anything about this yet. So we created a group, and they said to me, let's have a design. So I just designed it. I designed it myself. I know you may think, what's the big deal? But the forum accepted straight away. Well done, Sri. That's good. We go for it. And then that's good news. And then I was looking around at work, and I spoke to my company director about this. Well, can we sort of nick some steel from here? Get somebody. He said, well, no, go ahead. If you can get some steel, get somebody to weld it, fine, go for it. And I spoke to some people at work, and they were all saying, it's a lot of work, where are you going to do it, this and that. Then Bob overheard me. This is the Bob with my friend, good guy. He's there. Overheard me, Sri, listen, I'll help you out. I'll do the welding for you. You give me the materials. So I spoke to the group, and they said, we'll agree for this amount of money, just buy the materials. So Bob actually bought the material, stainless steel, and delivered to his house, and he started working there. Thank you, Bob, for doing that. It's very kind of you. And one thing, Bob has to, it's a big arch, so you have to put it in a garage. So that's where Abby, Bob's wife, parked the car. So Bob's Hummer manager kicked her out. So I don't know how Bob did that. So Abby has to park the car outside for 3 months. I don't know, Abby, how you survived. Thank you for that. Apologies from Bob. Anyway, that's one thing, and also I'm sure Ella Rose was, the little girl was struggling to play in the garage and all, I don't know what went on, but thank you overall. And that's Bob's thing. Bob did a good thing to us and welded all that nicely. I actually dug a hole, 2 big hole, where you can bury people, that big, about that height. I spent about 2 days to dig a hole. I haven't dug a hole before myself, but that's those 2 holes. Luckily, it's been filled by the good arch, not me. And also, I'm not a bricklayer, but I did spend 2 days to do some brickwork here. Maybe you can come and inspect it. If you like it, phone me. It'd be the same. So that's what I did. And finally, once we got the arch sorted, and we wanted to make a sign. So we agreed the sign. Jeff suggested that we should have the dove. So we got the dove on the side, and we got it sorted, and I was looking for somebody to make it. It was going to cost me about £400. Luckily, John came up and said, John also worked for my company, he's a contractor. He said, listen, I'll do it for you. So he gave me the design. So I wrote it, and we were naming it. I actually sent a lot of names. People were giving different names. So I sort quietly stuck to it. Sometimes you make a decision, don't you? I said, Peace Arch, that's it. So everybody said, thumbs up, go for it. So we named it Peace Arch. So that's the story of the arch. And thank you very much for listening, and thank you. This is the arch. And we were thinking who to open this arch or cut the ribbon. The best person is a girl, little girl, Bob's daughter, and her birthday is this week sometime, I think. I've been told, is it tomorrow? And she'll be doing it, and she's going to remember one day and say, my dad made that. And she's going to come here as well. We'll have to see the dad's work. This is the dad, Bob's, I mean, we're going to put a name on it somewhere, but this is the Bob. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And one more last thing. Please, if you have any problem at work, like Rabbi Martin said, come here, walk through the arch, make a wish, and then I'll tell you the problem will be solved. I guarantee you. If not, money back guarantee, come to me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Sri. So it's interesting, often I reflect, we all have a different perspective on something because we all take a different role. So it's naturally the stories are all slightly different, exactly how people explain. But that's okay. It's, it's our reality as we experience it, really. Next person is a person that I'm very grateful for his support and for his predecessor's support, Dorothy. Let's welcome up our elected mayor, Peter Taylor.
Thanks very much, and it's great to join you, and delighted about the money-back guarantee that's just been offered to all of us. As I was coming here today, I was reflecting on the role that Dorothy played in helping working with the Watford Interfaith when this Peace Garden was first created, and I think it's a huge credit to all of those people over many, many years. It was wonderful listening to Francois telling us the story of this Peace Garden. I think it's a fantastic part of our town. And the thing that really struck me as well was Mitty's comments in relation to peace and how we achieve peace. I think that lots of us often feel a little bit disheartened when we watch TV and we see conflicts in the world in places like Ukraine's been mentioned, but right across the world. And we know that there's organisations like the United Nations, there's governments that are working towards peace, but we can feel a little bit helpless and sort of think, you know, what can we do? There's always going to be war. But actually, I think the local is where all the action is. And Watford, in many ways, leads the way. We have got really fantastic community relations, and that's not happened by chance, that's happened because of work. Lots of people that are here today who've played a really important role, making sure that we do get on and we have places we can come together, we can talk, we can better understand each other and just have those moments of listening, which are so important. And so a huge credit to all of you here today who have played a part in that. Now, I've not got a money back guarantee, but when I go out and about in Watford talking to residents, two things come up a lot. The first is people say, can you sort out the fact I can never park my car on my street? So if people walk through this arch, I fear that that might not be solved. But the second is people often ask for money. And it was great to hear about the support from the Watford FC Trust, I know the Rotary and others. But some of you might not be aware that there is actually a new scheme that's out this month and next month. You can bid for grants of up to £20,000 from the council to fund community projects, and it's in there when it talks about things like parks, it talks about street furniture. So I know that lots of you are involved in the community. I'd encourage you to make use of that. You've got 2 months to get your bids in, and so that we can work together to really support our community. Finally, I'd just like to say thank you to those people who made this happen. I know lots of us who talk about things, but it does take leadership and people who kind of roll up their sleeves and do this. So huge credit to Shri and to Bob the Builder, who put the arch together. It was very good that I had the opportunity to hug Bob before I've had a chance to speak to him, but I'm very, very grateful to him for his work making this fantastic, beautiful arch part of our town. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this really important day for our town. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, Peter. Sorry, I'm just lost for words there suddenly. Let's welcome up our next speaker. It's we all publicise what we're doing every Wednesday. Judith takes pictures and I take pictures, and we put them on Facebook, and in that way, Watford Peace Garden is known, I'll say, throughout the world, because I've got friends in America who've seen Watford Peace Garden and been inspired by it. But the man I'm about to introduce actually got it mentioned in Parliament, which is fantastic. Let's welcome up Watford's MP, Dean Russell.
It's always a challenge for me speaking after Peter, because he's so much taller than I, so I'll have to fix the microphone. Well, what can I say? The first thing that always comes to mind whenever I come to these events is the word thank you, or the phrase thank you. I'm so grateful to be able to have the opportunity to spend time with such incredible, truly incredible, inspiring community leaders. You know, things like the Peace Garden do not, as has been said before, happen just by chance. They happen because people come together to do things that sometimes people might think are impossible. And when I reflect on the time I've spent here, I was here actually just earlier today as part of Father's Day. I had to rush home to come get a tie on to come back. But the reason why I say that is because actually we all have our challenges in life, personal, professional, what we read and see in the news sometimes. And the ability to take some time out and come to a place like the Peace Garden and actually reflect on what really matters to us, I think is just so important. And it crosses all barriers, you know, religious, political at times, community, personal, family, to be able to walk through the arch and reflect. And I'm very grateful too for Shree's money back guarantee from earlier. But I think actually there's a really serious point there about the fact that, you know, when we take that moment for ourselves, I'm a great believer that sometimes it's through inner peace that we can guarantee outer peace. And it's through those moments of reflection on ourselves, what are our challenges in life, that make us work better to help others through their challenges in life. I have a phrase that some of you have heard me speak before, have probably heard me say, which is that I say HOPE is an acronym. HOPE, HOPE. And I say it stands for Help One Person Every Day, HOPE. And I said that in my maiden speech, and I've held firm to it. Hopefully, as a Member of Parliament for Watford, I've helped more than one person every day. But the reason why I say that is that because actually sometimes just a kind word to somebody can make a big difference. Sitting shoulder to shoulder planting something in the Peace Garden can make a big difference. It might be during the pandemic. Many of you, I know, because I was out with you and saw it firsthand, helping get someone shopping, or knocking on someone's door and then of course distancing to check that they're okay behind their closed doors, makes a big difference. And that's how peace is achieved. It's achieved in events like this, what might seem small scale, but if every town, every community had a peace garden, I think it would make a big difference to the world at large. There's a quote that I'll probably get wrong, but Winston Churchill once said, I believe, we need less war and more jaw. And I think when I come to events like this, we often will pray together, but actually it's through when we play together and we spend time together and we enjoy those moments that really makes a difference to all of us. I'm very, very grateful to Watford Football Club and the Watford Trust for the work they do, because what they do is through sport, get people onto pitches to play together, to get to know each other, get to sort of forget things and forget the challenges in life, and perhaps forget their prejudices, forget the fact that they're different for a few moments, and actually celebrate that they're different. You know, you can't be a striker in a football club and be brilliant at that and also be a brilliant defender. You need both. And actually, I think that when we look at our community, that's part of that. The other thing I was going to note, and I noted Rabbi's very kind thinking about the reason why the previous arches were broken, and I'm hopeful too that it wasn't through malice and vandalism. But I think there is something really telling about what this new arch actually means and the bridge that it builds, because often peace is very fragile. We see that in Ukraine, and as at the moment I'm a parliamentary private secretary in the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and I've been very active in seeing what's been happening in Ukraine and the totally unnecessary and awful war that Putin has unleashed upon the country. But peace is fragile. And when I think about the damage that was done previously to the arches, it was broken because it was fragile. But what happens is that when we come together to say that is not what we want, that is not what we will take, it usually comes back forged stronger. And I think when I look at this arch, I will remember the strength of our community, that we won't take the fact that people will try and pull us apart. We won't take that our community and the peace in our communities is something fragile that can be easily broken, because we will always bring it back stronger. And that's very much down to the organisations that are here today, down to each of you. So I would just like to say a huge thank you. You've given a politician an audience, which means I could be out here for hours, so I won't keep you for hours. But what I would say is that I'm incredibly grateful to you all. As I said at the start, thank you is always the phrase that comes to mind, because it's because each of you working together, showcasing how we can work together and creating a template and a bridge for peace that means that Watford is such a wonderful place. And I like to try and take that message to Parliament, as I did recently, but also to the world. Because of you, we have a safer environment to live in, and hopefully that's something we can have in the world at large. So thank you so much. Thank you.
So now it's time. Can we welcome up Ella Rose and her parents? They should come up with her, of course.
Hooray! Right, you lead the way. Walk first. That's it.
Thank you very much. Lovely to meet you. Thanks for mentioning
Go.
the bridge of peace in Parliament.
I'll take your name and I'll give you the refund. Go on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've tested it. It's very solid. It's really solid. So. So, and now I'd like to ask Francoise and Judith to come up and got a few gifts for people.
Well, we are coming to the end of our afternoon, and we would like to thank those who really invested themselves so much to bring this Peace Arch back. So I think I've been amazed by the talented skill of Bob Smallworth, who built that arch. I cannot believe it. It's so beautiful and so wonderful. So we have a little gift for Bob, and if you like to come. And maybe Ella Rose also. Ella Rose.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much. Oh, Ella Rose, you take the flower, sweetheart. Oh, okay, I'll take that then. Thank you.
It's a birthday present for her.
Yeah, happy birthday, Ella Rose. Yes, thank you so much. You did a good job. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you.
And then Sri Mohan, who was really the mover, who made things happen. Yeah, Sri Mohan, if you want to come.
We kept it secret.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to receiving. Can I call my wife to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Christine, I think you deserve it. It should have the other way around as well for Abby. Bob, you got to give that to Abby. So, Christine, I'm sorry, thanks a lot, but she put up with me.
Your wife again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you at last.
Thanks for coming. Yeah. And one more.
And we got something for Mitty as well. Come on, Mitty.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mitty, for coming from so far away to our Peace Garden today.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. That's lovely.
You're welcome.
Is that everything? So, to close this part, I'd like to ask Harjit Singh, the chairman of Watford Interfaith, to come up and close everything. But then we've got a little announcement after that. So, Harjit.
Good afternoon, everyone. I didn't realise there were so many people here. I was sitting at the front. You can see everyone at the back there. So, welcome everyone today. And the weather's actually, kept its presence, and we haven't had rain. So that's really good to see. I just want to start off with a small quote. It's by President John F. Kennedy, and he says, "Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, and quietly building new structures." So maybe that's an indication of what we've got to come. But I just want to say, from Watford Interfaith Association, I know we've heard certain things saying about it's not incidental, the kind of peace that we have in Watford. For us as Watford Interfaith Association, we've been around for over 45 years. And the hard work and dedication by our predecessors is shown fruit. Here in Watford Interfaith Association holds many events. The Peace Garden is an integral part of what we do. And it's great to see members of the executive taking part and actually being involved in actually creating this space. Because I remember Veolia, when they came to us and said about this space that we've got, and it was a bit of a challenge because we thought, how are we going to get volunteers here? Who's going to be doing this? But certain people within the executive took it forward. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for the number of years developing this site to what it is today. And it's actually part of Castery Park. And so, can I also just sort of add from a personal perspective that we need to actually bring communities together. We need to be part of this community. We can't afford people to be on the sidelines, no matter what background you are, whatever faith group you're from, or non-faith group. let's face it, we are all part of one community. And I just want to say that it's a joy to see young people, and also the cutting of, Bob's daughter cutting the ribbon today. It's a sign for us. We need to get young people involved. And since my tenure, we wanted to develop programs that we can actually get young people involved. But unfortunately, we had the pandemic, so it stalled certain things we can do. But hopefully this year, we're going to steamroll some of the activities that we've been doing. And I was actually at an event with some schools about a month ago. And I think the idea of working together as communities, there was a great sort of pleasure from the actual schools to get involved. So for me, I want to close this from myself and say thank you to all the speakers that have been here today. So Mitty, thank you for coming down today. And it was great to hear yourself talk. As well as Councillor Rabi Martins, Surimon, who's been an action man. Anytime we need some help, we just pick up the phone and say, Surimon, we need your help. And you know what? There's nothing that Surimon can't do. And I think, is it Christine, is it? Christine, just a big thank you, because he does a lot for the community. So can we have a big round of applause? I know we've been saying that, but thank you, Surimon, for what you've been doing. Peter, you are definitely a friend of ours to Watford Interfaith Association, and also I sort of end up bumping into you once a week at least, or once every couple of weeks, and as well as our Right Honourable MP Dean Russell, who's here with us today. And I was only with Dean a couple of days ago launching another organisation, so it's good to see that our politicians, people of different persuasions, are here today and supporting the kind of work that we've all been doing. Bob, thank you for all your help, because it's about, doing the nitty-gritty, doing the work, and no wonder you guys all been applauded for what you've done. So again, thank you for myself and Watford Interfaith Association as well. Francois and Judith, I can't help but mention, wherever we do, whatever activities we do, both of them are sort of foundations for ourselves. But also a big thank you to Mrs. Chowdhury here, also, all the people that are on the executive, Yogesh Joshi as well, that are here, that made it. And of course, Jeff, who's presented it all today. And you know what? It went, it's gone to clockwork that we've achieved what we've achieved today. But a big thank you to everyone that's come here today. And I just want to say, if I've said anything to offend anyone, please take it upon myself that I apologise for what I've said. But please be part of Watford Interfaith Association. Get involved in some of the projects that we've got. There's so many. You go onto the website, you can have a look. Contact Judith or Francois or anyone that you know in the committee, because actually this time around we've actually got 19 people in the committee. We reorganised our constitution, and we've actually got more people on our executive. So it's great to see people want to get involved, and it's a growing organisation, and hopefully we'll see more of the commitment from people that we've got. But again, I've got to sort of say, we have to get young people involved. They are our future. The fact that we're talking about peace, in the world, the stability, it's not an unlikely position that we're in, that we have to talk about these kind of things. It's happening day in, day out across the world. If it's not Ukraine, it's somewhere else that's going to be happening, and it is taking place. So let's pray for those people that are actually suffering at the hands of where war is taking place. So let's pray for them, the children, the mothers, and the fathers today, because it's Father's Day as well. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for bringing your families along as well and being part of celebrations today. So can I pass it over to Jeff? So thank you very much. Can I have a round of applause for yourselves as well, please? Thank you.
Yeah, so just as an example of the things that are happening here, Alex would like to share a poem and tell you what's happening soon.
Hello everybody, I'm Alex Williams. I run Watford's Dial-Up Open Mic and I sing for Tiger Jazz. Many of you have asked, am I singing today? I'm not. Today I'm going to share a poem. I'm a huge supporter of the Interfaith Association, and for many years I've been the humanist speaker at the sacred space that takes part on the celebration day. And I genuinely believe that one of the most important things for bringing peace is dialogue and communication. And poetry is one of the ways we share our life experiences with each other through creative use of language. From 12 noon to 2 p.m. on Sunday the 3rd of July, we will be here sharing that aspect of celebration, sharing our poetry and our creativity with a Peace Garden dial-up. So please do come and join me. If you've got any questions or would like that information again, do find me, I'll be around. But I thought I'd share a poem with you as a tantalising teaser. This is from my collection Black Iris, and it's called Magluba. Magluba is one of the most popular dishes in Jordan, in the Middle East. I spent 2 years living and working out there. And alongside communication, dialogue, and open hearts, one of the most important aspects of generating peace is food. Feet dimple-dipped in the cool running water of the wooded rapid river near Iraq, Al-Amir. They picnic happily on plastic tables and chairs, flipping the cooking pot over and tapping the base, now its top, till out pours a feast. Everyone who eats is welcome. Lamb mansaf is the national dish, but magluba also holds an honoured place. Both meals prepared for family, not guests. Children take first as tradition demands, joyful portions with more than enough left for the waiting adults to playfully fight over. Cauliflower, potato, pine nuts and rice heaped onto chicken, a hearty pile that fills your plate and stomach. More than enough. Laughter is the compulsory side dish. The old feel young. The young feel full. The full feel happy. And the happy smile. Thank you very much. Come and join us on Sunday the 3rd. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, thank you all for coming. Please enjoy some drink refreshments and conversation. Isn't it a beautiful day to share together? Thank you.